There's a lot going on in the world of Magic the Gathering right now. We have a Dominaria league. Wizards of the Coast has just started a brand new game studio. And on top of that, they've also come out and addressed all of the player rage surrounding the Unfinity sticker cards.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another installment of Mega Magic News. Now here's the deal, some of you may have heard. My camera broke and I was running around trying to get everything working, but we are back on board. But as a result, I am kind of behind on some of the news. So we are going on a mega news cram journey. So let's dive right in. We're going to start out by talking about the Sheoldred League from Dominaria United. So up on the screen, you're going to see what has become the norm in this digital world. And that is very grainy photographs taken on very questionable cameras. But almost everything we've seen in this regard has turned out to be actually genuine. So this card is probably going to turn out to be real. When you break it down, it's 2 black and 3 for Sheoldred Insidious Conqueror, a legendary creature Phyrexian Praetor that has ward, discard 2 cards. That is so powerful. If your opponent wants to target it, they have to pitch 2 cards. That is so bonkers. The first ability says whenever a non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. And the second ability says, whenever a non-token creature your opponent controls dies, or an opponent discards a creature card, put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. This ability triggers only once each turn. And this is a 4/5. So on one hand, it feels legitimate. We are expecting to see Sheoldred, right? We have had a sequence of Phyrexians. We've already seen the green, the blue, the red, and we know that the white one is Elish Norn, the massive leader of Phyrexia, who we'll see last. So Sheoldred is next, and we've even seen it referenced specifically in Dominaria cards. So we know that Sheoldred is going to be in there. So that is both a point in the card's favor of it being real, but is also actually a point against the card, because that means anybody who's faking cards can go ahead and go, well, we already know that Sheoldred is going to be in the set, so making one is more believable. And actually, since we're talking about the Praetors, I do want to say it's most likely that we're probably heading back to the world of New Phyrexia, right? When we got that art and lore spoilers from the visual guidebook, we saw they had artwork of the 9 spheres of New Phyrexia. But that's new artwork. They never told us about the 9 spheres before. So we're probably seeing a return to that. Now, in terms of the card being legitimate, I feel like the abilities only triggering once each turn, that adds to legitimacy because it makes it feel like they're trying to rein the power into a degree. It does have the proper sort of symmetrical feel that the Praetors all encompass, where everything is a bonus for you and it's always bad times for your opponent. I have to admit that the first ability that says you get to draw a card off of a non-token creature you control dying, it only happening once a turn, feels kind of weak, but at the same time, the ward 2, discard 2 cards feels so powerful that that is one of the things that makes me go, I don't know if I can really lean into this being real. When you combine the ward with that second ability, where it's whenever your opponent loses a creature or discards one from their hand, it goes straight into play. I mean, it does have similar vibes to Tergrid that we have seen in Kaldheim. And Wizards has pushed the power level of Magic. So if this is a fake card, it is put together pretty well in terms of skirting the line of making something that is believable power-wise, but also kind of unbelievable. If this is the actual genuine card, this is going to be super hype, right? Like, I'm mega stoked about the fact that we have this Phyrexian presence, that we're going back to Dominaria. I mean, this is where the Brothers' War first took place, right? And I'm covering all that lore over on Fantasy Geographic. Next installment is coming soon. But I'm super, super focused on this card in particular as like a hype beast for Phyrexia. What is Sheoldred going to be doing entirely on Dominaria? I feel like when we went to Capenna, they threw the Phyrexians in to be like, oh, check it out, the Phyrexians were here, but they're not really. We just kind of went, oops, the red one's in here. But with this story, I'm hoping the Phyrexians are going to have a much bigger presence. We know, spoilers by the way, spoilers, Johnny is going to be converted by the Phyrexians, right? So that's mega intense to me. Anyways, the next thing I want to talk about is what would have been a leak if we talked about it yesterday, but because I couldn't get to the news in time, it is no longer a leak. People data mined on basically on Arena and figured out the contents of the 2 upcoming historic and explorer anthologies. So as of yesterday, maybe even the day before, they had all been leaked and were all over the internet. Turns out they're absolutely accurate. The most interesting part of everything that's being added probably are the artifact lands, because with the upcoming Brothers War set, there's probably going to be more demand for artifact action, right? But that was going to be a bigger element of today's news, but we're tossing it aside because it's only worth mentioning because it's neat that they're able to data mine and figure this stuff out. Now, the next item that I want to talk about on the list is actually there is a brand new video game studio that is being started by Wizards of the Coast. Now, I'm not 100%. I think it's most likely for Dungeons and Dragons, right? But it could theoretically be for Magic as well. It's kind of hard to know where Wizards of the Coast is in terms of making games for Magic the Gathering, because we obviously have Arena and we have MTGO, and they released a whole number of little like kind of side games. I don't know if you guys remember the little like arena game that they had as an app, and I don't mean Magic Arena. I mean, oh, what was it called? I can't even remember. It was this weird little battler where you would have little tiles that you would kind of flick at your opponent across the board, and they were based on Magic cards, but they weren't exactly the same, right? So Wizards was really, it felt like they were really going all over the place with a bunch of little mobile options for Magic that a bunch of people didn't seem to know about. But then in current times, they've went, hey, actually, you know what we're doing? We're pushing MTGO off onto another company. So they have MTGO is now managed by a game management company. So they're not making any real new games that way. They're pushing this one off, and Arena seems to be the only thing they're focusing on. And at the same time, they don't seem to have the resources even to get Arena flowing properly. Like, yeah, they can get the alchemy cards out in a reasonable pace, but they don't seem to be able to keep on top of the bugs or keep Arena like full on properly stable from what I've seen. So you got a situation where they're bringing on a brand new like entire game development studio called Skeleton Key, and it's going to be led by one of the people who was responsible for Dragon Age. And I'm really wondering if we're about to enter into a renaissance for Dungeons and Dragons. If you remember back in the day, they had D&D movies that were like questionable, right? You could enjoy them if you like Dungeons and Dragons, if you could put up with like the Wayans brothers acting and stuff like that. I mean, there was Jeremy. He was so amazing in that movie. There was a lot of fun in those old hammy D&D movies, but those movies did so poorly that when Hasbro had the option, they looked at all their properties. I want you to understand how badly Wizards of the Coast did with the D&D movies. Hasbro went and said, we need to make a movie based on one of our properties. We want, like, we're doing Transformers movies and stuff. We want to do a movie based on one of our properties. Magic the Gathering, right? We're talking about you've got all these multiverses, all these different places you can go. And what happens? Hasbro goes, we're making a movie on Battleship. Battleship, the game with little pegs in the plastic ships where you go, you sunk my battleship. B5 was bad for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. That's how things went. Hasbro went, no, Wizards of the Coast, you can't be trusted to make a movie on your properties because you blew D&D so bad that we're literally going to do a game based on plastic ships, and we're just going to make up how aliens are here for the water or something. Who knows? It's mind-blowing. So that is a testament to how things were. Now, though, there's a new D&D movie coming out that has people hyped. Honestly, the only complaints that I'm seeing about this new D&D movie are basically people going, yo, this guy transforms in the trailer, but this character class can't transform until, like, we're talking like mega nitpicky level stuff, which doesn't matter. You need broad appeal for a wide audience, and the D&D movie might have what it takes. And Wizards might also be doing the same thing with this video game studio. So it might have absolutely nothing to do with Magic, and it might specifically just be keyed into Dungeons and Dragons. dragons. But that doesn't really matter overall because if it works out, it could just trickle over into Magic as well, right? They could just go, hey, this company's doing a great job making games. You know what we're doing. Why don't we go ahead and make some awesome kind of Magic the Gathering RPG? Because they did try that in recent times, right? We had that Magic the Gathering Legends scenario. So who knows? I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about the next item on the list, which is player anger over the sticker situation. So for the background information, before we talk about Wizards' response to this, just so we're all on the same page, there's a set coming out at the end of the year, or near the end of the year, called Unfinity. Now, this is a joke-style set in a similar vein to the previous silver-bordered cards that Wizards used to make. But now they don't like the fact that the silver bordered cards don't really sell to people and they're too obviously joke cards and they don't make as much money off it. So now what they're doing is they're making an unset where a bunch of the cards can actually be used in older formats, but even the cards that are joke cards aren't going to have silver borders anymore. They're going to have a tiny little acorn on them. So you have this set that is ultimately a joke set, but at the same time is forcing itself into genuinely serious Magic, right? Some of these cards are tournament legal, which does mean that they're going to show up in the oldest formats like Vintage if you want them to, and also that obviously means that they can be in Commander as well, right? Because Commander functions the same way. It pulls from the entirety of the game. So you have a scenario where people are genuinely frustrated. There's a post where basically Mark Rosewater is being asked, yo, what happens in this crazy absurd situation? Let's say I'm playing an old school deck and I go ahead and grab somebody else's sticker cards. So I'm not playing their deck. They're playing with uncards. They're playing with sticker cards. And these are literally stickers that you peel off and stick on your Magic cards, right? Think of the old sticker books where you would collect stickers and stuff. Always loved collecting stuff. So think like that, but you're putting the stickers on the cards, right? So people are getting upset about this being included in their full-on competitive Magic. They're like, yo, hold on. Everybody has sticker cards now officially, so you're supposed to bring a stack of 10 sticker cards to any old school event you play like this. What if I'm somebody who doesn't care about stickers? Why do I have to do this? What if I'm playing a game against somebody and I steal one of their sticker cards? Now I've got this ability that I could use technically, but I don't have any sticker cards. What am I supposed to do? What's the deal here, right? So Rosewater comes out, and I will say this, sometimes when he answers questions from people, he will kind of cherry pick a question that makes the person who's complaining seem deranged, where they're just like really maniacally angry. But in this case, he actually picked a totally reasonable statement where somebody's like, look, I don't like what's going on here with the stickers. What happens when I pull a card? Am I just supposed to go, well, I can't use these sticker abilities because I took your sticker card because I don't have the stickers. Why are you forcing this on me? And one of the answers to that is they have an app. So they're like, you can pull up this app and it will generate sticker cards for you. The same way that Ask Urza allowed you to generate abilities for Urza. So I do like that they're giving you the ability to generate these sticker cards. However, I completely understand the position of people who say, look, man, I don't want this sticker nonsense shoved into my game. You are literally taking unstuff and forcing it into the game. So on one hand, I get the people who genuinely don't like it, but I also understand the people who appreciate it and want to play with it. There's no obvious, easy answer in this regard. And so basically what Rosewater comes out and says is, look, we designed stickers to not be that powerful. Yes, we've got the app, you can get the sticker cards, but ultimately we've designed the power level of sticker cards to be low enough that they shouldn't be showing up in any of those environments. So the argument from the company essentially boils down to, yes, we are putting these into the game, but they are weak enough that they won't affect anything. That being said, we've been told a lot of things by this company over the years. They told us that the Mythic Rare slot was just for big, flashy rares that were meant to be impressive, and that wasn't a place for them to put the most, like, power-crushing cards, right? And yet, now that's what they do. They told us another time, we're never going to use the Mythic Rare slot to put lands there, because lands are crucial for people's decks, and to put them at Mythic would make it too difficult. And then you turn around, and they got Cavernous Souls at Mythic, and whatever. So, the whole, we built this at this power level low enough that it's not impacting anything, is a disingenuous statement to me, because Wizards very much does this Trojan horse style thing where they just bring it in, and once it's brought in, they just go, well, hey, it's just a part of the thing. Oh, you got used to it? Let's crank up the power level. Now, I mean, I may be getting a little over the top in that regard, specifically with the unstuff, because who knows if they're ever going to push the stickers to that level. But Wizards' whole, like, hey, we designed for this, don't worry about it, we got everything under control, it's all good, this won't cause any problems. I mean, look at Companion, right? They made Companion knowing it would be a problem. So we hear one thing, but they say and do another. For me, I'm like this. I think the stickers are goofy fun, but I'm 100% on board with people like, bro, can we just leave those out? We're not playing like on stuff. Can we please not play with stickers? That is totally fine by me. I'm like right in the middle, bro. If you don't like it, cool, I'm with you. If you like it, cool, I'm with you. I'm right in the middle. I'm enjoying myself either way. So again, a massive thank you to everybody who came together to help me get this camera. It's so nice to be back where I belong, making videos for you guys. We're gonna keep doing it for the next 1,000 years. Big shout out to my patrons for supporting my channel, and I'll leave a link to my other channel, Hatcher, where we've been doing all kinds of live streams and having a great time. If you haven't heard already and haven't made your way over, come on over and have a good time with us. Goodbye for now, my friends.